How's it going, everyone? My name is Kota Unlocks, and welcome to the ultimate beginner guide for Wuthering Waves. I'll be covering everything in the first few hours of the game here, get you started off on the right foot. There'll be tips in here for rookie players that have never played a gacha game before, as well as veterans, and going over specific aspects of this game in particular. With that being said, let's get right into it. So, first things first, right off the bat, whenever you first log in to the game, you will have to select the server that you're playing on. I'm in America, so I will be selecting the American server, but of course pick according to where best suits you for your location. Now, as we launch the game, it will have a select between our two rovers. We have the male and the female rover. Both characters look extremely good and are very great units for you to play the game with. They are actually among some of the strongest units currently in the game, especially as we get into the end game. And for most purposes, they are exactly the same between the male and the female. So I'm just going to pick the male rover here as today's example, and we'll put in our name, Newbie. And this is you. For the purposes of this guide, I will actually be skipping out on all of the cutscenes. If I would recommend watching them, though do note that some of the localization and the English voice acting in particular is a bit rough. But that being said, there is some really good story here if you take the time to actually delve into it. It does have a few issues, but they're working on it, and it gets much better later on in the game. That being said, skipping all the cutscenes for the sake of the guide. Alright, immediately following that cutscene, you are introduced to Chixia and Yangyang, both of whom will be free characters that you will acquire during the beginning part of the game. And the game gives you a few tutorials on how to move and such. Now, as I said, some of the English dubbing and stuff can impact the story because some of it's just a bit poor, in my opinion. So what you can do is you can go into your settings, go down here to the language settings, and change your speech language to Japanese or any of the other languages. They are much better recorded, with much better direction given for the voice lines. I will actually just go ahead and swap mine over here to the Japanese. It takes a quick second to download it, and then once you have it downloaded and selected, you can freely just swap it over, and that should fix a lot of the kind of voice work. Now, there is still some mistranslations and stuff like that that will have to be dealt with, but it does help improve, I feel, the beginning section of the game. Now, moving around, we will be going over the mouse and keyboard controls because that is what I'm playing with. The controller support has been a bit buggy, so whereas I usually play games like this with a controller, I'm having to play it with mouse and keyboard. But it's pretty straightforward, especially if you've played, say, Genshin Impact. The controls for both the controller and the game are similar. WASD moves around your character. Space is a jump. If you jump and hit a dodge, you can do an aerial dodge, both as a backflip and as an extra height on your movement. And if you just dodge without moving, you do a little backwards shimmy. For attacks, you have a basic combo with most characters. If you hit C or bring up your resonator window from the pause screen, you can actually get some more details on your character. So here, of course, is the Rover. You can see that Rover is a Spectro character that is kind of like light aspect, and all of his attacks will do Spectro damage. You can see the weapon that you have equipped. It has its own personal sub ability. You can see Preserve increases attack by 4% just as a base. And if we had more, you could swap it out for different weapons. Clicking on the Forte tab will open up your abilities. As you can see, you have 5 basic abilities, with a 6th one that does not have a level associated with it. Your basic attack ability shows you the type of damage that you deal, the spectro damage, as well as the combos that you are able to perform. And you can break it down to different modifiers for its damage. You see, it is a 4-part damage, with the biggest hit, of course, being the last hit. Here, there's a bonus for dodging, for your heavy attack. You can see down here are the resources needed to increase the level of your skill. And it says that you cannot upgrade it until your resonator is rank 2. Going back up here to our resonator, these diamonds right above the level, these are your ranks. It goes all the way up to rank 6, which would be at level 90. Right now, our level cap is at level 20, and we are a rank 1 resonator. Other abilities that we have is our resonance skill, your E ability on the mouse and keyboard, and it has its own modifiers, cooldown, and upgrade materials. Now, moving over to the other side is your resonance liberation. I do wish these two had a different beginning part to them. There's resonance skill and resonance liberation. And I wish they were a little bit better differentiated. You can just call it skill and liberation if you would like. It is your ultimate ability that takes a while to charge, and it has the biggest modifier potentially out of your kit. Now, every character in the game is going to have a Forte circuit. What this is basically above your HP bar in the game, you'll see a special bar. As you are attacking and dealing damage to enemies and performing other such actions, this bar will fill up, and each character utilizes this bar in different ways. For the Rover, the Forte circuit is used whenever you have at least 50, which is about half of the bar, and you use your resonance skill. It will allow you to then do a special attack immediately following that skill, and that special attack will do increased damage. You can see it will increase the damage based on different aspects right here. Every character has a different Forte circuit, and learning the Forte circuit of a character is vital in order to get the most out of them. Other abilities will unlock as you raise your resonator rank. These can be simple things like increasing the amount of damage you do, increasing your attack, and some will increase your crit rate and stuff like that. But the middle column here always has special abilities. Damage dealt by your basic attack, Resonating Echoes, is increased by a whole 60% once you unlock that at Resonator rank 2. And then further on, Rover will gain 15% attack increase for 5 seconds upon casting his heavy attack. So these are also very important to unlock as soon as they become available. Now, as we will get into later, each character has an intro and an outro skill. These are also called QTEs in other games, and are basically your combo system between your characters. Whenever you fill a gauge called your Concerto, which we do not have available to show right now, but it will be to the left of your HP bar, you will trigger a QTE, where you can swap to another character. This will perform your current character's outro skill, and the new character that you're swapping into will perform their intro skill. Intro skills are almost always a form of damage being applied on coming in, and the damage will scale, of course, with level. But the outro skill will usually grant a buff to the following character. You can see for Rover, you'll generate an area of stasis. In other words, you will pause the enemies around you for the next character or nearby team members that lasts for 3 seconds. So by triggering your outro skill, the next character that comes in has 3 seconds of free damage without having to worry, or they can do a quick parry or a dodge within that time window. Then we have their resonance chain. This is where duplicate copies of characters go to increase your buffs. You will need something called a wave band in order to increase the resonance chain. Increasing the resonance chain for the Rover will be free. As you progress the game, you will get access to his wave bands for free. However, other characters that you get from the gacha will require you to pull additional copies of them from the gacha. That's about all that we can cover on characters right now. More will become available later on, but let's move on. This game does have, of course, crafting and gathering, and I highly recommend gathering anything you come across. You can gather flowers, butterflies, rocks, all sorts of things. And in this game, you are able to use those things in order to increase your pharmacist and your cooking levels, which will give you additional resources and rewards. So it's good to gather things so you are able to cook and craft at your own leisure. Now, as you saw, whenever you approach a wall and you jump on it, your character will automatically begin to climb. Climbing does consume stamina, the little bar that appears next to your character when they are exerting themselves. However, this game also allows you to sprint outside of combat by hitting the shift button. Sprinting will not cost you stamina while you are not in combat, but it will cost you stamina in combat. So keep your gauge in mind. It will also cost stamina to swim. You can spend stamina and sprint up a wall in order to... We will unlock the ability shortly to be able to sprint up a wall, but for now you have to climb it. As I said, make sure you gather everything that you are able to gather. So now I am able to sprint. This consumes stamina a lot faster, but also allows you to climb at a much faster rate. Now, getting into the combat. Hitting shift at the right time will allow you to perform a dodge. This will consume an amount of stamina and will open up the enemy to a counter attack. Counter attacks do increase damage based on your basic attack skill. You can perform your 4-part combo, or you can perform a combo and mix in some charged attacks. And of course, your resonance skill is tied to your E ability. There is a lock-on feature in this game, however I don't recommend using it. And just instead focus on controlling the camera with your mouse or joystick. Did that one just kill itself? I think that one just killed itself. You have a charge attack combo by mixing in 2 charge attacks. Rover does a lot more damage, but is also more open up for damage himself. And more combat. The game does a good job of giving you into the combat right away. There you can see I use 50% of my Forte guild bar in order to do some increased damage with my skill there. And there I did it again. Now my ultimate ability is ready, so I'm gonna hold it for the next enemy that spawns here. Those enemies we were fighting before were basic enemies. However, this one is a elite enemy, and you can see now we have access to Yangyang. Parties in this game consist of 3 characters, and you can swap to them on the keypad for 1, 2, and 3. Yangyang is now available. She is an arrow character that you get access to at the beginning of the game. She also just has a basic weapon, and learning her Forte circuit is also pretty good. You can see her outro skill is different from the Rover's. Yangyang will recover 4 resonance energy per second over 5 seconds for the incoming character. This means your incoming character will gain increased energy regen for a few seconds, allowing them to get their ultimate faster. Yangyang also has different charge attack animations. And if we charge up her Forte circuit, Oh, is going to force me to do an intro skill. So here I have the Concerto Gauge charged, and by hitting 1, I will swap, perform an intro and an outro skill. Now, back to Yangyang. Her forte circuit is an aerial heavy attack. It does a lot of damage as well as some great AoE effects for it. Now let's use our ultimate. You can see it did a massive chunk of damage there. Perform the intro and outro. He's stunned for a few seconds. And that's basically the gist of combat. There are things like dodge canceling, animation canceling, and stuff, where if you swap while an attack is coming out from one character to another character, the character that is performing the attack will remain on the field until the attack is finished. It's important to remember to go ahead and gather all the resources available to you in an area. You can see up here we have a chest. Gathering items from chests and stuff will give you XP for your account level, as well as helpful items and experience for your weapons and characters. You can see we have acquired some weapons from opening chests. However, unfortunately what we acquired was gauntlets, and both of our units use swords. Each character has a different weapon type that they use, and there are several in the game. Before we were opening basic chests, but this here is a standard chest. It has higher tier loot, as well as more loot available upon opening it. And there we got a green tier weapon. So the types of items you have is common, then you have uncommon, blue tier, which is rare, purple 4-star tier, which is epic, and then you have the legendary 5-star tier. Now, you can see that because this is a tier 2 or green tier or 2-star item, it is scaling much higher than the weapon that we currently have. You can see our current weapon at level 1 gives us 20 attack and 2.5% attack percent. But this green tier will give us 22% attack and 3.2%. It also has a different intro. It's pretty similar to the one before, but it will increase your attack by an additional 5%. So since it is an upgrade, might as well go ahead and equip it. Remember, again, go ahead and gather all the fish and everything else you come across. Remember to grab this chest back under here, it's a bit hidden. This here is a resonance beacon. It is a teleport waypoint. Activating it will align it with your map, which means that you are able to teleport here in the future. There are multiple resonance beacons located throughout the world, and you can track them so you can go find them later for easy access. There's also these resonance nexus towers. These are the big boy beacons. You can also teleport and track them. Aligning with a tower will give you a quick cutscene and will reveal parts of the map that you do not have access to. So if I were to get this resonance nexus, you will have access to the part of the map that it covers. Also, going to a resonance nexus will heal all of your units for free, so you don't have to worry about healing them yourself. Here we have some rocks, and any unit in the game can gather rocks in a pretty timely manner. You don't have to worry about having a broadsword wielder in your party to gather them. So we've now unlocked the glider. Pretty straightforward, it gives you a tutorial here. You jump, and you hit the jump button again mid-air to pull out your glider. I will point out that anyone that says that this game has bad character designs has clearly never seen Baizhi, because Baizhi has a great character design. Also, this is one of the best options of dialogue they give you in the whole game. Makes Yangyang so concerned for you. After that cutscene, you are now introduced to the Crownless. Crownless is the first overlord or boss level character that you will face in the game. It also unlocks the lock-on feature, but as I said, it's not all that great, and I would recommend learning to play without it. Now, he's going to slowly walk up to you and stare you down. He's just waiting for you to do an attack so he can perform a counter. Here he comes to perform his counter, which is where the game teaches you how to dodge. And from then on, you are pretty much just fighting the Crownless straight on. This is a great opportunity to learn dodging and counters for yourself, as well as keeping an eye on the general flow of combat. You can see now I have my outro skill available, so I'll perform an intro with Yangyang, which will freeze him momentarily, allow my Yangyang to gain some bonus damage, and charge up her outro, so we can do the same thing. And some of the combat might take you some getting used to. Also, the combat is way more intricate and advanced than something like Genshin, so don't feel too bad if you are getting hit a lot. Any lack of potential skill will come with time as you're playing the game, as well as you can outscale most of the general content of the game. This is where a counter comes in. So you can see that golden circle around him. That means that I can perform a counter attack. By hitting the attack button at the right time, I will stun him and chunk his stagger gauge. When his stagger gauge is completed, he will become stunned. Practice the timing on your counter attacks on the Crownless here, because he is the easiest enemy in the game to perform them on, and it'll help you kind of figure out the timing for how you do it for other attacks. But now you can see he is staggered, so I can really wail into him, and the Rover actually gets a special finisher on staggered enemies. And that's kind of it for general boss battle. Lots of things can counter, as you saw my charge attacks, my ultimate there, some characters' abilities or skills will also perform a counter. And that's all there is for that. Now, after that series of cutscenes, you now have access to more free-roaming aspects of the game. There's a lot of rocks you can gather actually right around the Crownless boss fight that I recommend you just quickly snag while you have the opportunity. And you have some free reign to kind of explore at your own leisure. However, if we continue down here, we will run into some more enemies, like this stone giant here. Now, rarely upon defeating an enemy, you will obtain what is called an echo. It's a glowing, transparent remainder of the enemy that you just defeated. Hitting the F key will allow you to absorb the echo. Echoes are basically your equipment, your artifacts, your gear, however you want to view them. And the tutorial is going to basically walk you through using it. But you can see each echo has an echo skill and a sonata effect. The echo skill is the effect of your topmost echo and will allow you to transform into that echo for an additional skill. You can see the echo skill for our Stonewall Bracer is you transform into the Stonewall Bracer and charge forward. Successful hits grant a follow-up strike and a shield. The Sonata effect is going to be your bonus effect for having several echoes that are in the same group. The group here is the Moonlit Clouds group. It is the energy regen set, so you can see if I have 2 of my echoes in the Moonlit Clouds, I will gain some energy regen. If I have 5, all of my echoes in the correct set, I will gain an additional, upon using an outro skill, it will increase the attack of the next resonator. Also, echoes have their own main stat, which you can see here we have spectro damage bonus, as well as a substat, which is usually just some extra attack or HP or defense. If we click on the upgrade, you can feed in experience points that you will obtain to upgrade the level of your echo. Echoes can go up to level 25, and every 5 levels, you will gain the ability to tune substats. Now, this is a green tier echo. It will not unlock any substats leveling it up, and I do not recommend leveling up anything less than a purple tier artifact. You will be gaining more and more echoes as time goes on. Your echoes are kept within your data bank. This is where you can keep track of the overall level of your echoes. As you increase your data bank level, you will be able to unlock higher tiers of echo. You can see here at data bank level 5, our highest drop rarity becomes a blue tier at a 30% chance. At level 6, that goes up to 50. At level 7, that goes up to 80. And at level 8, you start getting purple tier with guaranteed blues. Each tier also gives you some rewards. You can see you're going to get some asterite, some stamina increase, as well as your tuners, which will allow you to unlock the substats of your artifacts. The highest tier at level 20 will take you a long time to obtain. I should also note that you will be stopped at certain points in your progression here until your union level, this level right here, gets higher. The maximum level needed here is 40 to get the highest level from your databank. Also within the databank is your Echo Gallery. This is a helpful tool to allow you to find out what echoes you have and have not obtained. You can track echoes available here later on. And as you are raising levels, the highest level you have will be at the very top, while the lowest will be at the bottom. You can see that it ranks them on rarity, and right now Stonewall Bracer is at the lowest rarity of 2, with the highest of 5. Each tier you get will give more XP to your databank, and if I were to say obtain a 5-star elite class echo, it would give me the other 4, 3, and 2-star rarity points. So getting the highest tier is the best way to raise your rank. Also here you have the Sonata Gallery. This is where you can see the sets that can be dropped. As you can see, we have the Moonlit Cloud set, which has the Stonewall Bracer right here. But also, the Stonewall Bracer is part of the Rejuvenating Glow set. It can drop in 2 different sets, and it kind of is random on which one you get. Now, there was an event running where you could get a free 5-star Echo at the beginning of the game. This event is now over. However, I would expect more events such as it to follow, so keep an eye out for those. Just give yourself a little bit of a bonus. You've also unlocked the Trophies Gallery. This is where achievements that you've obtained will be kept track, and you can see you will get Asterite for receiving each achievement. So go ahead and claim those as you unlock them. Some of these will unlock additional rewards for you, being your sigil. You can see once you have obtained all of these, which this one is actually for completing all the side quests in Huanglong, you will obtain this sigil, which is a form of personalization for your account. You can change your avatar to characters that you've obtained, and you can change your sigil to ones that you've unlocked. And some of them, in my opinion, look pretty nice. We've also unlocked the mail feature. Now, at the current time that this video is being recorded, there are a lot of rewards available to you in the game. This was because the launch of the game was a bit rocky, as well as there is the pre-registration rewards and just general live stream rewards and other bonuses. Kuro Games is extremely generous, and if some of these rewards are not available to you at the time that you are starting the game, don't worry, because I'm sure other rewards will become available to you in the future. You can see these will be deleted after 30 days, whereas some of them are permanent, that you can acquire whenever. So you can go through and you can claim them all individually, or we can hit the claim all button. You see all those items were added into my backpack. I recommend holding off on using anything for the time being. I'll go over exactly when to use it, but especially your free 4-star weapon, wait on using it for just a little bit, and we'll go over why in a moment, but don't use it right now. Here we have the tutorials tab. This is just going over everything the game has already taught you, and anything that has this little red exclamation mark that you re-click on, so you re-look at the tutorial again, will give you some asterite. You see, I got 6 more asterite as a result of looking at the tutorials. Now we do have some XP that we can use to level up our Rover. However, I'm going to hold off on using it. The game is very easy right now at the beginning of the game, and I would rather save my resources for later after we pull on the banners and get more characters so I can decide exactly who I want to build. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and go around and kill some more enemies. Again, the more enemies you kill, the more databank entries you get, and the more you get to basically experience the game. And again, when you get an echo, pick it up. That's the fastest way to progress in the game. See, these enemies out level me by quite a bit, but I'm still dealing with them pretty easily because the game is just not hard yet. But there we got quite a few echoes and gained some XP. So let's go ahead and look at the echoes that we obtained. So again, the best thing we could do is keep it to the same set. However, during the early stages of the game, don't worry about it. Just get things that help boost your damage, and you'll be fine for the first little while. See, this gives me attack percent, so I'm just going to equip it. I could also equip one of these onto Yangyang, but Yangyang isn't who's doing most of the damage right now. It's the Rover, so I'm just going to give Rover everything that is helpful. So here we have a defense percent, and this one is actually on a set that increases spectro damage, the Celestial Light set. So if I can, I would love to get all 5 artifacts within this set, just so my Rover gets even more damage possible. But it's not something that I'm going to necessarily go out of my way to accomplish right now. So the game wants me to go over there to progress further. However, I want to kill some of the enemies that are over here while I have some free reign. You can see this enemy is actually a Spectro enemy, and these cubes are purely their element, so it's actually immune to my Rover's attacks. So I have to go to Yangyang in order to do damage. So having a balanced team of different elements is also important, especially whenever you get into dealing some of the more challenging aspects of the game. Some enemies will simply just have resistance to your attacks, so in order to do the most damage you can, it's best if you use a different element on them. And it didn't drop an echo. You can see by looking at your databank, right now, my current drop chance is only a 6%, with an enhanced drop chance for bosses, Overlord and Calamity class, which we'll get into Calamity class later. But we have leveled up our databank to level 1. This will increase our base drop chance from a 6% to a 10%. But again, the only tier that will drop is the green tier. There's also the cost limit. Cost limit is how much of an echo that you can equip. Each echo has a cost associated with it. There are 1-star or 1-cost echoes that are the basic enemies. Elite class are 3-cost echoes, and Overlord and Calamity class enemies are 4-cost echoes. So at my current, I can only hold 8, but as you raise up, you'll be able to hold 10, and then at the end, you'll be able to hold 12. 12 is the max for right now. So let's go ahead and claim this. We'll get some rewards for it. And it'll increase my chance of getting more echoes as I am fighting. And again, we're just going to equip it onto our Rover. It's HP percent, which isn't all that great, but it does give me a boost to a stat. So I will equip it for now, and I can swap it around later. So here we have a title heritage. These are basically chests. It's the same thing as a chest, but usually you have to defeat nearby enemies in order to open it. We did get another echo. So this is the basics for the beginning of the game. To unlock an echo, and you go ahead and equip it. This will actually give me the 2-piece. Oh, I'm apparently still in combat. Oh, that guy over there. Let's run away from him real quick so that way I can equip it. So I actually have the 2-piece Sonata or the attack percent lingering tunes. So it will increase my attack percent even further. Which is nice to have. I could equip it onto Rover, but again, it's beginning of the game. It doesn't entirely matter. Just gather what you can, kill what you can, and progress forward at your own leisure pace of whatever you want to do. We have some enemies over here that I'm going to go ahead and deal with. Anytime I see something I haven't killed before, I'm going to go ahead and try and take care of it. While you are coming across enemies, you may come across ones that have a slight glow to them. These are guaranteed to drop an echo. It's a 100% drop rate, which is nice for you. So go ahead and kill it whenever you can. And increase my stamina some more. And at the next rank, my drop rate goes up to 15. And at 5, I'll finally start getting blue tier artifacts. Now, blue tier, you can think about upgrading them and using your tuners to get some substats. The reason being because the tuners for the blue tier artifacts, you can't use them on anything other than blue tier artifacts. So if you have some, might as well use them. This here is a puzzle for the game. You follow these little butterflies to a wood stump, and you get some rewards. It's pretty easy and straightforward, and other gacha games have a similar puzzle to them. Over here we have a breakable rock. You can tell it's breakable if it has these special runes on it. Give it a few whacks, and there will usually be rewards on the inside, like a chest or some additional minerals and stuff like that. Alright, so this here is a sonar casket. The Sonance caskets are a limited collectible resource you can gather in the wild. And you can turn them in to a vendor who will give you some good rewards for doing so. Like I said, there's a limited number of them, and so you can only turn in so many. But as you're progressing, you'll just naturally find them. Turning them in will give you rewards such as the level up material for the Rover, as well as his wave bands for his duplicates. Now here we have something that will require a gadget. I will need to be able to pick up this rock and throw it at this rock, but I do not have that ability at the current in the game. There are gadgets that you obtain, and you get them all fairly easily. I just do not have them yet. More echoes that we have not yet acquired. Over here we have more puzzles. I'm going to run up here, do a little flip to get to the top of this, and I can even do this to get even higher. And here we have a race puzzle. If I go ahead and start the race, it's going to have me gather these orbs on my way over to here. Nice and easy. We got some pistols for that. Unfortunately, I don't have a character that uses pistols currently. Turn that in, and we got a broad blade. Again, I don't have a character that uses the broad blade. In other games, it would be called like Claymore or something like that. Basically, big sword. So after that series of cutscenes, you will obtain Chixia as a new resonator for you. She is a fusion gun wielder character. And now's a great question to ask. Who do you think has a better look between Yangyang or Chixia? Let's get some red versus blue in the comments. Let me know your opinion down below. My opinion's leaning towards Chixia, but that's just me. Now, with Chixia, we could of course equip any of the spare echoes that we have, but there is an auto equip button. This is actually pretty useful for early game, where sets and exact stats do not matter. You can just auto equip and it'll fill her out with bonus stuff that you have laying around. She's apparently got the healer set going, but that's fine. And now, with that being done, we are now within the main city of Huanglong. And we can grab this resonance beacon here and make our way into this building. This is kind of like the Adventurers Guild. It's the Pioneer Association, and you can ask about your exploration progress. Here you can see how much you've explored all the different regions of the area, and you get some rewards based on how much you've explored. Notably among these rewards is some of your gadgets. Here you have a loot mapper, which will point out treasure chests that you have missed nearby. Some portable waypoints. A device that helps you locate casket sonars or the turn-ins, as well as you'll get some XP, some asterite, and some shell credits for leveling these up. Be sure to come check out here often to see if you've obtained any new benefits from your exploration. You may notice on the map this square box icon. It's actually a casket sonar. You can see it's actually on the building right above here. So if we were to scale this building quickly, we can collect it. The casket sonars can all be turned in to this guy right here, Chinpi. You get a quick cutscene with Chixia whenever you first talk with Chinpi, but then you can deliver your casket sonars. You'll get things such as lustrous tides and asteroids, and there are 10 total levels of turn-ins you can do, with the number of sonar caskets needed for each level, of course, increasing as you go along. We have enough for the first level, so we will go ahead and deliver. Chimpy's little robot does his dance and gives us our rewards. The game will now have us use this Nexus tower. Just simply run up to it and hit the interact button. After the quick cutscene, the map will be revealed, so we can see now all of Jinzhou. You can also see the nearby resonance beacons that you need to acquire, as well as if you zoom in, you can see various shops and other things that we will be covering shortly. The main story is wanting you to climb to the very top of the tower here, so we will go and do that. But real quickly, while we are in the area, if you jump down over here, you'll find Coco. Coco is a pharmacist vendor that will sell you, most importantly, these flowers. These flowers are actually the rank up material for characters. For the sake of this video, I'll just go ahead and level up my Rover to give an example. So we'll go ahead and up him to 20. I'm not going to use all my purples. You can see just 3 of them gets me to 18. I use a blue, that'll get me there. But if I use my greens, I can much more delicately reach it. There, I'm at full 20 without having to waste a lot of XP. Now I am risen to 20. It's going to ask for this Whisperifying Core, and for me to be at Soul 3 Phase 2. After I rank him up with these Whisperifying Core, I will need not only this, but a type of flower, and a special material, a boss drop that is unique to each character. Now for the Rover, you obtain his via delivering the sonar caskets to Chinpy. And you can just buy the flowers that you need here rather than having to go and search for it. Now, bear in mind that if you were to buy all 15 of her available flower, which she restocks weekly, it'll take you 45,000 of your shell credits. This might be a steep investment depending on how much shell credits you have, so it's a give and take in that regard. If we run up the wall here next to Coco, we'll be on the main street of the place, which will also be where you can find Ganshu. And I hope I'm pronouncing these Chinese names correctly. Probably not. But if we talk to her, you can get some souvenirs. Souvenirs will take these wood textured shards, which you acquire anytime you open up a chest in the open world. You see, we currently have 19, and it takes 50 for us to get some wishes from her, of which she has 5. So basically, you can either save up and buy out these wishes, or there's some stuff that costs a lot less. Notably, you can get these materials that you will need for your weapon and skill enhancement, and they are much more cheaper at 2. So you can buy 9 of those for your 19. As you're doing your open world exploration, you should eventually pretty easily buy out her shop. Personally, I would recommend focusing a bit on the Lustrous Tides, but there are a lot of these given out right now as compensation from Kuro, so you can maybe wait on these and instead pick up some of the XP and the Ascension materials as you need them. Just stop by here. Also down here is this guy. He will give you a brief challenge on how well you can do your mid-air dodges. Just talk to him, and you can just kind of ignore everything he's saying. And we're going to first start with the easy level newbie challenge. There are 3 tiers to the challenge, each of which gives rewards. And we'll see how well I can do at these challenges. So jump, backflip. Jump, backflip. Jump, jump, backflip. And you have to do at least 10. I am messing up because I'm not thinking. Oh, I messed it up. Hold on. Let me do it without talking. All right, I think I accomplished all of the challenges, and you can see you get a good amount of rewards for doing that just real quick. Entering here, you see a clock that I'd really like to have in my room, and you continue onwards until you meet a character named Sanhua. After you speak with Sanhua, she'll give you some items that you need to go and figure out what they mean, as well as will give you free reign, basically, of the entire place. From here, you have unlocked the best gadget in the game, the Grapple. So use T, and you can grapple to a set point. You can also use the Grapple just freely in the air to gain some extra height, but it will go on a cooldown afterwards. Here's where you can see all the gadgets that you have by holding tab. And like I said, the Grapple is currently the best one in the game. Activating this resonance beacon here. Over here, you will find the synthesizer. This is where you can craft some basic items in the game. If you've played Genshin Impact, you can think of it as the Alchemist table. Some good things to craft early on is some of the healing items. They are not too expensive. And as you are crafting and synthesizing items, you will raise your synthesis level, with each level giving you some rewards. You're getting some asterite, some boosts to your items that you craft, and stuff like that. So this is basic healing items. Here you have some of the other items that are helpful, like some experience for your weapons, as well as items that are used by your gadgets, and some enhanced items that will give you more options to craft over here. And then over here you can combine forms of items that drop by enemies, and you can combine them into a higher tier. So I can take these green tier Howler cores and I can combine 3 of them into one of the blue tier Howler core. So that's how the synthesizer works. Entering into the building, we'll have a quick talk with Baizhi and a character known as Mortefi. This is Mortefi. And the gacha system will unlock after these cutscenes. Sorry, after those cutscenes, you have a brief training period where you're just getting some simulated combat. Okay, gacha system unlocked. So here is an important thing. It's gonna first make you do a standard pool. This is a guaranteed Beidou, who is a healer for the game and is a pretty good unit if you want to use her. Again, one of the best designs in the game. Now, the game is gonna give you a brief tutorial on how you can swap characters out on your team. So, now that we have Beidou unlocked, again, take a quick look at her, see what she can do for you. Her outro skill will increase some healing for you. As I said, she's mostly just a healer and a support. Now's a good time to claim all your tutorial rewards. Claim all your trophy rewards. And let's hop back into the convene. The game has given you 40 of these standard wishes. You'll see the first banner here is the Novice Convene. Every 10 wishes is guaranteed to give a 4-star, and you get 5-star in 50. However, this is discounted by 20%, so it'll only take 40 to get to the 50, if that makes any sense. You basically are guaranteed with the current amount of giveaways Kuro Games has given you to get this free 5-star unit. And it's a random 5-star unit from any of the available 5-stars. The available 5-star units are Verena, who is a healer and one of the best supports in the game. Encore, who is a fusion caster DPS. Calcharo, who is an electro broadsword DPS. Jianshin, who is an arrow pseudo support but can also make a decent DPS. And Yangyang, who is a cryo DPS. You'll also have access to 4-star characters, 4-star weapons, and 3-star weapons. Because it is guaranteed, I recommend you start the game by simply doing your wishes here. As I said, it'll take up all 40 unless we get it early, so let's see how lucky we are and see who we get. So we only got a 4-star as the light was purple there. And you can just click through, or you can click the skip button here. And the 4-star that we got was some gauntlets. That was the first out of 4. Let's go ahead and use the next. Again, it's purple. And we'll just hit the skip button. And it's some more gauntlets. But we also got the wave band for Yangyang. Moving on to the third. Purple again. Dauntless Evernight. getting a lot of weapons, which is kind of disappointing. In the early game especially, you want to get characters over weapons, but it's okay. And now this one will be guaranteed to be the 5-star character. Oh, what? Chixia wave band. Hold on. Did I not do my math right? Should be 40. My math was probably bad there. We'll go ahead and do this last pool. There's the 5-star. And when you get a 5-star, always slow click to see who you get. Build that suspense. Dauntless Evernight. Again, just getting weapons here. And we got Ascension, who again is a pretty good support, especially for the early game. And we've got a ton of gauntlets for her to use, which is also pretty nice. Now, immediately after finishing the Novice Convene, you will be able to get the Targeted Convene. The Targeted Convene lets you pick the next 5-star that you get between all of the units available. Now, between them, Verena is the most meta pick because she is the best support currently in the game. However, we will use a different way to get Verena. I'm going to select Calcharo. Calcharo is one of the best DPSs currently in the game and is probably one of the coolest characters in the game, basically being Sephiroth with a JoJo stand. So yeah, we'll select him. And now you can see he's the next one that we will get within 80 convenes, which will take a little while. But do not waste your Asterite pulling additional here. Now, how we will get Verena is right here at the bottom. We have a selector, and we'll select Verena. And this is the guaranteed one that Crow Games has given to the players. So I will just use the one wish and get Verena. And now I'm starting the game with 2 5-star characters, with a third available after some time. With that being done, we also have the Raid Up banner. Currently the Raid Up is Jian, who is a very powerful unit. We'll go ahead and do some wishes on him. However, the next one coming out is Yinlin, Yinlin, who is a very great Electro support, who I will be pulling for on my main account in a future video. And other units will of course be coming as time goes on. So decide for yourself if you want the Raid Up unit or you want one that will be coming in the future, and save your resources for them. But we have 30 wishes, might as well go ahead and burn them on this banner as well. On my main account, I was much more lucky, and I got Jian after 1 wish on that banner. But it does not look like we're going to be lucky here. Do we at least get a character instead of a weapon? And can it not be Chixia? Of course it's a weapon. Now how the Raid Up banner works is, if you fail to get one of the Raid Up characters, the next time you pull will be a character. So we will guaranteedly get one of these characters. Similarly, if after 80 pulls we do not get Jian, the next time we get a 5-star character, it will be Jian. So let's go ahead and do the 10 pull here. Still not lucky, but this time we will get a character. And we got Mortefi, who is a fantastic support. He's probably one of the best 4-star units currently in the game. And we got one last pool. Let's see if we can end it on some luck. No, okay, I'll skip. Oh, we got Taoshi. I haven't used her much yet. She's a Havoc, which is basically darkness. And she does a lot of counters and stuff. But like I said, I haven't used her. Oh, and we got another copy of Mortefi, which is fantastic. Also on Raid Up is Jian's weapon. I guess we'll do some wishes here and see if we get lucky here. The 4-star weapons on rate up don't really matter. Basically, you just want the 5-star. However, unlike a normal gacha, or I should say, unlike a Genshin Impact, the weapon banners in this game are actually pretty good. We'll get into the standard banner here in a minute. But because this 5-star weapon is guaranteed, if you get a 5-star weapon, it will be this one, Verdant Summit, or whatever the other rate-up weapon is, in 80 wishes. It is actually recommended that if you don't want the character, but the weapon is good, go for the weapon. Because the weapon can also be used by other characters, and again, it's actually guaranteed for you to get. And this weapon, the Verdant Summit, is actually pretty good. It gives you some additional crit damage and some bonus damage as well. So we'll go ahead and use our summons here and see what we get. I also, on my main account, I got his weapon in one pool. Does not look to be like the luck is with us on the this account here. Nope. Now we could use our Asterite, but I do not have enough for a 10 pool. I have enough for a few singles, so I might save it for a 10 pool. Below the event banners, we have the standard banner. This one will guaranteedly give you a 5-star character if you get a 5-star hit. But in my opinion, instead of pulling here, you should pull on the weapon banner. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, you get to select the 5-star weapon that you want. You can look at the details, see if it's one that you want, and select it. Now the 5-star sword here, the Winter Broom, is actually a very good sword. It gives you crit rate, increases your energy regen. When you use a skill, it will increase your attack. It's a great weapon. So you can select it, and now when you get a 5-star out of this banner, it will 100% be that sword. Other great options here include the pistols, and I believe the broad blade is also a really good option. Now, the reason why I recommend doing the weapons over the characters is because you will get characters as you play the game. Eventually, you will lose the 50-50 on the rate up character, and when you lose the rate up 50-50, you get one of these standard characters. Not to mention the game is starting with you getting one guaranteed right off the bat. You get a selector, and during the time that this video is released, again, eventually that selector will go away. But you get a selector that lets you pick the character for rate up, and you get a second guaranteed character that you can pool towards. So after you're done with this banner, after you've gotten your Calcharo or whoever you selected out of this group, I recommend you put these standard lustrous tides towards a weapon. Do not pull here, because you will eventually get these characters when you lose the 50-50 here. That is my recommendation. You're free to do it however you see fit. Now, as you are pulling, you will get an additional resource. You will get these corals. You will get the Afterglow coral and the oscillated coral. These are basically used to get some freebies out of the shop. You see, I have 1,000 of the oscillated corals, so I can go ahead and buy out some of these. I can buy out this, and I can buy out this, or almost buy that out. The Aftershock coral, I recommend you hold off on buying these right now. You'll be able to build up a stockpile of these, and when a character comes out that you really want additional copies of, you can buy them. You can see after doing those 30 pulls, I have 60 of this, which is almost a third of the way, or a fifth of the way to getting an additional duplicate of a character. So save it up over time. I am actually going to probably be using mine on Yinlin, on her banner, whenever I'm pulling for that on stream. But don't waste the Afterglow Coral. But with the oscillated, feel free to buy the wishes out and then buy whatever additional resource you see that you would like. That's that. Now, with gacha games, there's the concept of a reroll. Let's say, because my rolls here were actually pretty bad, I could just play the game again on a new account and try the wishes again. And I do that over and over again until I get the characters I want. While that is an option, I personally think it will lead to burnout, and I don't recommend it. This game is very generous on the rewards it gives you. You still have a lot of time to play to get characters like Xian, Calcharo, and stuff. So I don't think you need to push it and rush and force yourself to get, the perfect account by any means. This game is very generous. You got tons of rewards already. You're already starting with 2 5-stars. I don't see the point of a reroll, personally. As you are playing the game, as time goes on, you will get more stuff. That's just how the game works. That's just how I see it. But anyways, looking at our characters, we have their wave bands that we can now activate. Here on Yangyang, we can activate more Teffis. And Chixia, I believe we have 4. Yeah, we have 3 here that we can activate for her. So our Chixia is pretty strong here. And now that I have pooled characters, I can start looking at the team I want to build. So let's go ahead and build a team. So we have Zhanshin, we have Verena, and we have Mortefi that are considered to be highly rated units. However, we also got a very strong Chixia thanks to all those duplicates that we got. So a team that I think I might try is using Chixia with Shanshin and Verena. And because we are doing that, remember to go ahead and deploy the team that you're going to use. Making multiple teams is very important, especially for late game. You probably need up to 3 teams built, but do not rush it. Just build according to what will get you the content done right now. So I'm going to focus just on this one team. So whenever I'm building up a team, the main focus is going to be my main DPS, which is going to be Chixia for the purposes of this video. So we're going to go ahead and get Chixia all the way up to level 20. We're going to get her a weapon, which I did not get a 4-star weapon, but Kuro Games gave me a 4-star weapon. If I go into my backpack, now's a good time to use the Ranger Series weapon supply chest. Using this, I get to select a weapon out of the group, and I'm going to pick the Undying Flame because that will work for Chixia. So again, we will go in here and we will switch her weapon over to the 4-star Undying Flame. And we'll go ahead and upgrade it. Now, you can go in and manually select what you want, or you can auto-select. And auto-select will start with the lowest tier weapons. Just get rid of the fodder in your inventory. And that'll be enough to get it up to 20. And again, we cannot go further until we've raised our account. Now, she has already got some of the echoes equipped, and we don't really have higher tier echoes available, so we'll move on from there. I can't level up her skills yet, so we can move on from there and move on to our support. Shanshin is going to be our support, so let's see what we have available. We have 2 different 4-star gauntlets. We have this one, which will increase her intro skill and resonance liberation damage by 20%. It also gives her defense scaling. Or we have the Marcato, which will, when you use a resonance skill, it will restore 8 of your Concerto energy, allowing you to use your intro and outro faster, as well as giving you some energy regen. To me, this is very good for a support, as it will allow you to swap in and out of them quickly, and will give you her ultimate a lot faster. So we'll go ahead and switch it. Now, I'm not going to upgrade these right now because I don't really need the damage upgrading them will entail. Now, as far as echoes, because we are now using her instead of our Yangyang, I'm just going to move over all of our Yangyang's echoes. You can see who has the echo based on this little icon here. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but we'll just go ahead and quickly move those over. Now, Verena is going to be our healer. Again, I'm not going to worry about leveling her because it is very early game, and I did not get a 4-star for her, but that is fine. 3 stars can work for the early game until I can find a 4-star for her. And I think I'll go with this one because it has energy regen. Again, she's a healer, she's a support, that should be fine enough. And we'll go ahead and give her the Rover's artifacts. With that, we've covered pretty much everything there is to cover on a beginner account. I'll now move on to my main account, which you can see is Union level 38. To cover some of the end-game aspects of the game. Also, you will unlock the event tab as you are playing. This will give you some aspects of what you should be doing as you are playing. For instance, it'll guide you to doing the Depths of the Elusive Realm, which is kind of like a simulated battle experience. It'll tell you about new characters that are out, and you can play a trial of those new characters. New quests that are out, events that give you rewards, and also you will have access to the Awakening Journey. This will give you rewards at 5, 15, 25, 35, and 45, with 45 of course being the biggest reward. As you will get a selector for a free 5-star weapon from the standard banner. You'll also get some rewards from other things, such as you'll get Yanwu for clearing the Tower of Adversity on the stable zone. You'll get a Chasm Guardian for completing stage 5 in milestones. And you'll get Sanhua for a sign-in for 5 days. Looking at my characters for end game, for the most part, I have 2 to 3 teams that I'm working on. I have my main team, which is very meta team of Xion, Ortefi, and Verena. However, you do not have to go as meta. Just know that it will take you longer probably to clear some content, but you make up for that by also being able to better enjoy playing with characters that you want to play with. I also have a team that makes up with Calcharo and Yinlin, the new Resonator raid up, will also be on a team with him, and Zhanshin. And I'm working on making a team that involves the Havoc Rover. However, I do not have a Donjin who I would like to use on the team, and I could use Taoshi, but she doesn't really provide what I'm looking for that team. There will be tons of side quests that you can do for it. I've done pretty much every side quest. This is a new one for the new event. And a new companion story is available for Yinlin, so I'll be doing both of these tomorrow. But aside from that, they're pretty much done for me. After I've completed the main story, I spend most of my time spent on using up my wave plates. For me, I use these to make sure that I have my teams ready to be ascended as soon as I hit the next Ascension level, which for me will be at level 40. I will be able to raise myself to Ascension level 5, and I will be able to send my team from 60 to 70. I'm ready to do that on all of my team members. So that way, as soon as I hit 70, they can all be raised to their highest damage. The exception of Zhanshin. She's in such a support role for me that her damage output is not the biggest thing for me to work on. Same thing for my Yangyang, who is also pretty far behind, but I'll be looking to raise him up later. Yangyang I might not raise past 60, just because I'm not really liking her support style. At this point, I'm thinking maybe I might use a Sanhua as just more DPS, but I'm kind of just looking to see how I do that. As for what you should be using your wave plates on as you are leveling, your wave plate is a stamina resource that will refill slowly throughout the day, and you need it for various activities. For low levels, I highly recommend focusing on getting the Resonator XP or Shell credits, as these are two resources that are fairly easy to farm, and there isn't a lot else that is worth using it on. After you obtain your first Ascension on your characters, focusing on getting some of the resources needed for their talents and weapons, as well as fighting the bosses that will drop the resource you need for that, is also a good use of your resin. For me personally, I would fight the boss until I have enough drops for the characters that I'm using. Then I would focus on getting the talent and weapon items. Here at the end game, another great thing to spend your resources on is the tacit fields. These are basically artifact domains from Genshin. They drop the items, the echoes themselves, as well as tuners, which you need a lot of tuners in order to properly gauge how powerful an echo is when you obtain it. But by far the most important thing to spend your resources on is 3 times per week you can fight a Calamity boss. You can see remaining attempts are 3 out of 3. I haven't fought it yet this patch. You'll get a mold for crafting weapons, as well as a special drop dropped by that boss. And these drops are used on your characters for their higher tier abilities. See here, I need the bell for my Yangyang. I will probably go fight the turtle 3 times today, just to use up my 3 chances this week. I was kind of waiting to hit AR40, but I do not know if I will hit that by the end of the week, so I'll hold off for a little bit, but I will definitely be using them on the turtle before then. As far as that goes, that is pretty much it. The end game is pretty simple. You just log in, you do a daily quest, you max out your guidebook, and follow what you can on it. It will give you some daily quest missions that you can accomplish, as well as have the milestones. The milestones go up to stage 6, and each stage gives you various rewards, with the bigger rewards of course coming towards the end of it. And these are good things to follow to make sure you're progressing your account. And that's pretty much it for the Ultimate Beginner Guide. I'm pretty sure I covered every aspect of the game, but if there's something you would like me to go more in depth on, please let me know in the comments section down below. And while you're down there, just tell me what you generally thought of this guide. I made one of these a long time ago for Genshin Impact, and I was really looking forward to making one for Wuthering Waves. Anyways, with that being said, have a great day, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.